Good morning. I'm DeGenova.
And I'm Eden Novak.
I'm a poet and a publisher, and I'm going to read some poems for you today. But first, I just want to take a minute to say thank you to Door County Auditorium and Write On Door County for inviting us to share some of our writing with you this morning. Hope it helps to fill our long days these days. So I'm going to start with a poem that I don't think needs much explanation for any of us who've spent a fall in Door County. Thanksgiving poem. Young buck drags his hindquarters, eyes wild for escape, across the unlit road. The car ahead had swerved, pulled off the road. Our friends out of their car, shaking, pacing. Oh geez, in a field behind the struggling, the useless legs. Call the police. An accident. Flashlight. A shot. Heaving, steamy breath. Second shot. To the head. Silence. Policeman pulls the carcass to the gravel shoulder. Highway crew's morning pickup. Again the moonlight. White frost. Empty fields. Farther up the highway, a country tavern. Our friend's son, bartender and chef, serves us whiskey, no ice, no flourish. His friends go for the carcass. The precious meat cannot be left to spoil. Out back, the buck is dressed, the tenderloin removed and fried with onions and carrots. A white plate is passed along the bar for sharing. Thinly sliced, dark-colored venison, one communal fork. The plate reaches us. We hesitate a moment. The taste is wild. It tastes like running. And now I'm going to do a poem that I wrote in response to music. The event was called, it was the Midsummer Music Festival, and this piece was written in response to a piece of music, and then I read it with the chamber orchestra. Villanelle Variation for Violin and Piano. Tonight my bow moves so legato. What dreams there are between the strings, moonlight slows the tremolo. Where silence paints a cold tableau, we hold our masks of youthful cravings. Tonight your keys touched so legato. We've let go the gold and rainbow, the morning cries and midnight ravings. In moonlight slowly the tremolo. Building, building, building crescendo. Tonight no dreams of broken strings. Tonight our toes dance pizzicato. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. There we go there, then we go there. Hand in hand without vibrato, 1 and 2 and 3, the languid savoring. In moonlight slow the arpeggio. Despite our score marked doloroso, together still, ivory touch and subtle flavorings. Tonight my bow moves pure legato. In moonlight gone our tremolo. Between the strings our dreams, we drop our masks, our midnight ravings. Tonight our hips sway so legato. 1 and 2 and 3, still savoring.
I'm going to read you a couple of stories. I have been writing short stories, essays about my odd family, particularly my odd mother. So I'm going to start out with a story called Fur Coat and Shiny Black Pumps. Ma had one fur coat, but it wasn't quite right. Either it was too short, or it wasn't the right kind of fur, or not enough fur, or maybe it just didn't make a big enough statement about her for the entire world to see. Whatever the reason, she needed a new fur. The question was, how to buy a new fur coat without spending any more money? Where can I cut back for my must-have? We can cut out food. Yeah. If I cut back, let's see, 6 or at the very most 9 months, I'll have it. Perfect. So all 6 of us were put on a weight loss plan, and Ma got her full-length Pavlis & Sons mink. It took 9 months, not 6. Not that Ma was counting. There are a lot of attributes I've inherited from my mother. I am not proud of many of them. One of the least dangerous is her Imelda Marcos-like DSM-4 textbook case of OCD shoe obsession. I love shoes, and Ma loved shoes. To Ma, it was all about what people, primarily the women in our Greek Orthodox congregation, really noticed. Exteriors, details, those careful finishing touches, like ornate frosting flowers on a cake, or a well-manicured lawn and a fresh coat of paint on the siding of the house. Her closet was filled, not with glamorous designer dresses, but with coats and shoes, pumps in every conceivable color, all with high heels calculated to accentuate the line of her already shapely legs. Anyone looking at her was meant to get a picture-perfect view, whether starting out at the top or at the bottom. Ah, great hat! And that coat? But wait, look at those shoes! Or, great shoes! Wow, those are some real nice gams. But holy cow, look at that coat and hat! Now she had her new black mink fur from Pavlis & Sons in Chicago and a new pair of black patent pumps. All a perfect match for her gold Cadillac with the champagne leather interior. And we were off to church to show it all off. The mink and the shoes, that is. She snapped when I asked if I could help her off with the fur once we got into the pew. "I'm fine," she said, sharply but quietly, through the telltale joker grin that always affixed itself to her face as soon as we stepped through the church doors. "But Ma, it's hot in here." I was confused. "I'm fine," she hissed through her teeth, still smiling at her audience in the other pews. This was when I realized, looking over her shoulder and down the front of the coat she wrapped so elegantly around herself, that was all she was wearing. Fur coat, ratty underwear, graying once white slip, pantyhose with the holes in the crotch, but with nary a run down those elegant legs, and the shiny black pumps. I didn't need her to open the coat to know what I'd find underneath. That was what she'd had on when I'd seen her finishing her perfect makeup that morning. Did she forget to dress? How does one walk out of the house without clothes on? In shiny black pumps, of course, and a fur coat.
I'm going to read one more poem for you. I was lucky enough to call Norbert Bly a friend and mentor, and this poem is dedicated to him. After the Teacher. I built an altar, old bricks and white stones, for the Earth Mother's sculpture that gently bubbles, the sound of water in my garden. Yet with morning coffee in one hand and your book in the other, I hear lawnmowers, car engines racing, and airplanes. There is not enough quiet. I need more silence. I need to hear the words in my head. I need to hear your words as I read this book with your watercolor cover. I know why you left this city. I ordered another of your early books from a used book dealer. It arrived signed. Yours was a difficult handwriting. And now you've left us all for more silence again. No dramatic thunderclap of shotgun. Your exit was a door closed softly, only the sound of the bolt catching the strike, making sure no wind could blow it open again. You wrote, "I write on my paintings to be heard as well as seen." And I understand now why I play my saxophone during my poetry readings. And I hear your deep articulated voice. You never mumbled, clear and sharp as a boning knife. So I speak louder. In your words, there is an icy courage. Within the watercolor painting of this book cover, you brushed a blue-yellow-red landscape and inked the words wolf song, crow woman, night horse, afternoon of the sun, and the rainbow dance. This rainbow dance of yours is singing, beating an old rhythm. I hold your book close, careful not to break the binding.
I'm going to finish off with a story called Traveling in Back Seats. I don't like back seats. They don't get along with my tummy. I realized this when I pooped in my pants. Yes, I did. In the back seat. I was 6. Nausea turned into cramps, turned into the driveway too late, turned into a soiled mess. You see, my anxiety about the possibility of no bathroom, just in case, settled into my digestive tract, tore right through it, and caused the very thing I was trying to avoid. And so the phobia began. After that, as soon as I would enter the back seat of the car, my gastrointestinal tract would salivate, trained like Pavlov's dog. Short trips, long trips, it didn't matter. My sole task was to remain calm and search every road sign for the picture of a toilet. I would plan my trip survival on where the bathroom stops were. "Stop fighting there and look out the window," Ma would scream as she tried to locate me and my sister with one arm and swat us while maneuvering the wheel with the other. "I am looking out the window. There's nothing to look at," was my quip, as I scanned the terrain for gas stations, rest stops, and wide roadside shoulders with suitable weed cover. I don't like back seats. When I was a kid, cars weren't equipped with factory-installed air conditioning. Our car had special air conditioning that consisted of manually rolling down all the windows and driving 60 miles an hour on the highway. If you drove with my papuli, this kind of air conditioning was not acceptable to this warm-blooded man. He was always cold. Oh, by the way, he was my short, box-shaped Greek grandpa, whose face always looked like this, and his constant refrain was, "You have no respect for the old man." Papuli spoke very little English. After all, he'd only been in the U.S. since 1920. When he did speak, it was only to gripe about being slighted or having to take a bath. "My arms, my legs, my feet, everything shot to hell. Take me back to the old country to die." He was always feigning some ailment that would keep him glued to the Barcalounger that we kids had since given up ever sitting in again once I found his loogie-filled cotton hankies tucked in the cushions. And then it's summer, 1967. Papuli is sandwiched between Sis and me in his hat and 3-piece wool suit that feels like an old scratchy horse blanket against my bare arms and legs. The dark gray suit that is now beginning to release its long-held odors of Greek fishermen, boats, goats, and unbathed old grandpas. In a Chicago August, on our way to Florida, in our 1963 Dodge Coronet, Ma and Dad in the front seat with my little brother, me, Sis, and Mr. Happy in the back. My backseat phobia is already churning the bile in my gut when Dad lights up his first Pall Mall cigarette, 15 minutes into our road trip. "Open the window," I beg. My seat is always behind his, and now that special manual air conditioning is blowing 90-degree air into my face, filtered through tobacco and stale breath. First dry heave. "It's cold. Close the window." I turn to Papu. "What?" I say not as a question, but as a firm "No! I'm cold, goddammit, close the window," he answers, and then proceeds to light up his 6-inch stogie. The voice inside me, holding in all fluids, screams at me to find a bathroom soon. Papu is whining. "I don't want to go to Florida. Take me back to the old country." I'm thinking, can't we just drop him at the next bus stop? He keeps asking. Then everyone would be happy. "I gotta go," I scream. "We just got on the road. Can't you hold it?" "This isn't fair." My sis never complains. Heck, I wonder if she's even awake while this whole smoke fest is going down, or is she already in an oxygen-depraved coma? "Ma, come on, this just isn't fair. Can you please open the windows? We're dying back here, and I have cramps. I gotta go." Her response to the air quality situation is, "Helen," because she could never remember my name, Eden, calling me instead by her red-headed sister's name. "Helen, we're almost there. Just look out the window." We had just turned onto the Skyway. Second dry heave mixes with stomach gurgling. My window only goes down a quarter of the way. I plaster my mouth to the opening and suck air. Then I fall asleep or pass out, which is more likely. I wake to the sweet smell of leaded gasoline pumping into the tank on my side of the car. I think I would take that smell over cigarettes and cigars any day, as I inhale deeply, then jump out of the car and head to the counter for the bathroom key, which hangs from a hubcap to deter theft. Who would steal the key to this stinky room? Colon relief achieved, I hunker down in the back seat again, nose to the window, inhaling the sweet perfume of aging immigrant, and fall asleep again. I wake into a cloud of smoke and find a black bump on my forearm. Ma, what's this? Tick! Pull over, dearie! Tick? What's a tick? Luckily, Dad has his cigarette already lit. Hey! What's a tick? When he nearly brands me with it. Ow! Why did you do that? Tick dead. This isn't helping my stomach. Now I have to go to the bathroom again. My branding burn needs ice, and a weird heat rash is developing from the horse blanket suit beside me, so we stop at the next rest stop. I think Sis is dead. I haven't heard from her since we left. See? That's what happens when you open the windows. Bugs fly in. No more windows open for the rest of the trip. We'll crack Dad's open so you can have some precious air. Ma's always so accommodating. We have another 12 hours to go. Sis isn't dead. And lucky for us, we get to repeat the exact scenario again 1 week from today. I really don't like back seats.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for listening. And
Thank you.
Yes, we'll sign off here. And once again, thank you to Door County Auditorium and Right On. We will see you around town.
Bye-bye.